All right, it seems like a long time since I worked a piece of chert. This one is from Ian Harris, or Gear Gnasher. Let's see. From large tabular piece seems okay. Yeah, it seems pretty good, especially up here near the cortex. Yeah. All right, so let's see. What is the size of it? A little over 8 inches. So can I get a 9-inch Cumberland out of it? Yeah, let's try it. Someone recommended I go find a flint stretcher, right? Or a biface puller, get it stretched out. All right, let's see. First of all, I gotta knock down these delicate edges. I didn't knap this biface. Ian started this one, and I'm gonna see what I can do. Seems like forever since I worked on a piece of chert. Just a regular piece of chert. Yeah, I've got to knock down these edges quite a bit. Okay, let's do this. It'll take forever if I do it with the Abrader. So just use the beat up bopper to knock back the edges. They're way too thin to do the flakes I want. Yeah, that's the first order of business. It's starting to get cold outside. It's in the 20s right now. But yeah, that's why I like living up here. They actually have winter. I like it. It might be a little uncomfortable, but you know, it feels good. It feels good. Winter and the change of seasons feels good. Starts getting on my nerves around February, but for right now, it's not too bad. Not too bad. As long as I have a cozy shop and plenty of stuff to knap, everything's good. And they got sales on meat and sausages. Yeah, I'm happy. They always got something on sale over there. All right. It looks like I'm going to have to get rid of that nice material, but if I get big old flakes, I can still knap those. I'm going to try to get some big old flakes to knap into arrowheads while I, refine this down into a nice biface. Yeah, I can tell this is going to copious amounts of abrading on this one. I like doing the whole edge because I can get in the groove and knock a bunch of flakes off at the same time and get a feel for it without having to be interrupted by putting the abrader down, picking it back up, putting it down, picking it back up if I do individual little striking areas. Okay. Should also be wearing two gloves, not just one, but oh well, we'll see how it goes. All right, let's see. Arrowhead number 1, or I should say Arrowhead flake number 1. I like it. I like it when it's good quality stuff, because that'll make a nice one. Okay, in fact, let's save this in my saving box. Yep. Saving box. For the good stuff. All right. Arrowhead flake number 2. Yes. Saving box. Where's another good arrowhead flake? Off the tip. No, that would get rid of the length. Yeah, I know. But what else can I do? What choice do I have? Don't do it. Yeah, I know. Too late. Arrowhead flake number 3. Let's see. Where else is opportunities showing itself? Right here? Yeah. Starting to get into the nasty stuff. I can still save the flake though. I can work that one. Yeah. I can work these. Now they're starting to break up because it's starting to get thinner. I can't really take too much meat off this biface. I gotta be a little bit careful. I can use that one, yeah. Let's put that in the box where I got it from. Because Ian sent me a box of this stuff. It's not all the same stuff, but he sent me a box. So I'll put the smaller flakes in the box and the saving flakes in a basket or a bin. All right, let's see what else can we get. Yeah, we are napping it. You didn't know you were napping it too? You didn't know? I gotta beef up the edge again by knocking off the delicate areas. Yeah. It's gonna get really narrow really quick. So I'm trying to take off relatively big spalls off of this biface. So I need a very strong edge. I'll start preserving the edge more as I progress. To keep the width, just in case. I like to make sure I keep plenty of width just in case I need it. If I make a big mistake. Now, if you don't make big mistakes, you don't need to keep a lot of width, I guess. Yeah, I know some of you are that good. Don't need to keep the width. But I like to leave my options open. Because I never know what I'm going to do. And you never know what I'm going to do. I'm all over the place. I have a basic strategy. And that's it. I don't even know what I'm going to do sometimes. So I leave myself the width so I can deal with issues if they pop up, because I often mess up in my little experimental ways, or because of my experimental ways and my gamblings. starting to get, the options are not as good as they were, but it's okay. I like it a lot. It's Chert. Yes, it is. It's Chert, and it's napping like Chert. Okay, here we go. We're starting the thinning phase. Yes, we are. How do I know? When I start to feel the pressure, I start to feel the burn or something. I don't know. It's just that I'm starting to feel the tension. And the pressure. To make sure I don't mess it up. It feels like I can mess it up now. So that's when I know it's the next phase. When it stops being fun, it's fun in the beginning. When you're just breaking into the rock. Taking the first few flakes. But after that, it starts going downhill quick. As far as fun goes. And it takes its toll on the tools as well. I gotta make sure this doesn't get too pitted. And too nasty. Because then it messes me up. I think I'm all cool and doing it really good. And an excessive amount of pitting will eliminate the cool and make me look stupid. Do I care that much? I don't care that much, except it increases the tension. Yeah. I don't like shedding unnecessary sweat over this stuff. Okay, I have to unzip my jacket because it's starting to get hot. Okay. But it's progressing well. I like this stuff. All right, so but I can't start liking it too much because then I've got to watch out for being too cocky and too happy when I'm napping this. Yep. Ooh, that's not good. If it does that, the incipients that are flying around, they just all landed right there. There's always incipients that are attracted by the sound of napping. And they just all landed right in there. There's nothing you can do about it. Yeah. Okay, so as it gets thinner, as these flakes are getting thinner, they're getting more snappish. Now there may be some defects in the stone, but I don't see too many. It looks like pretty good quality stuff. But as they get thinner, they get more snappish. Yep. Why don't I just make it more narrow so I can make them thicker? Well, someone might want to buy a wide biface. Yeah, I might end up having this for sale as a wide biface if it works out. Yeah. Sometimes I can make wide bifaces that are fairly thin. Yeah. Does it like to be thin? It's not liking it too much. No. It's not liking it all that much. This is a good candidate for heat treat. But I wouldn't heat treat a big biface like this because then it gets kind of brittle. I would heat treat the smaller ones that come off of this center because the center seems to be concretey. And if you heat treat the concrete, it becomes good. Yeah. In many cases, it becomes good. I'm losing some length. I know. Don't be so length sensitive. Don't be so length sensitive. All right, let's see. What is my inner voice telling me? What's the strategy? I'm trying to clear my mind so that I don't have distractions. Keep a focus on just thinning it. Yeah. It's starting to get inconsistent. So there's areas that are easy to nap and other areas that are not easy to nap. So it's starting to get a little bit crackly. Yeah. And a lot of that is my technique because I don't pay too much attention at this stage to avoid the crackly. So it's a combination of the stone getting inconsistent and I'm just not worried about it. It's so nice, right? I'm going to mess it up here. Yeah. So I'm peeling some of these flakes off for arrowheads. Yeah. If I can. That one's not bad. It's a little bitty one, but it's not bad. Why aren't you preserving this for the final biface? That's too hard. I just want to get this done without too much thinking. Yeah. Too much thinking and the biface starts stinking. You get a stinky biface. You get too much thinking. It starts it's stinking. What is a stinking biface? It's one that doesn't look good. Yeah, I know. Don't make no sense, but it's just an expression. All right, so I'm pretty much working with the lower grade stuff now, which is fine. It's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry so much. That's why I wear 2 gloves when I'm doing this. Because, I have little mishaps that are going to cause me to spring a leak and I get it all messy. That was nothing. False alarm. It just banged into my finger, but there's no leaking going on. All right, let's trudge ahead. I'm going to try to keep as much of that as possible and try to nap away as much as the other side as possible. Yeah. It's not that easy to accomplish because you got to keep moving the edge that way. Yeah. Keep moving the edge in one direction constantly instead of just going with the flow and just taking the opportunities. Hold on. I gotta make sure this is as flat as possible on this side first, and then I'll preserve it. Now, if I take all the flakes that I need right now off of this side, and if it's flat enough, I don't have to worry about knapping it to clean it up later. But it's easier said than done, because it's hard to judge if it's flat enough. Yeah. Oh, but I like these flakes. And it's so semi-translucent. Yeah, it's getting flat enough. It is getting there, yeah. So all I really need is just little bitty flakes to clean it up a little bit later. It'd be ideal if I didn't have to clean it up at all, but there's always a little bit of cleanup. Yeah. Always a little bit. It's hard to judge if it's flat enough. I got a little dip in there. But that's okay. Yeah. Let's make sure. I don't want to have to come back and try to get a lumpy spot out when it's really thin. Yeah, this step is difficult for me. I'm used to just being opportunistic and not preserving anything. I don't pay attention usually to one side or the other. I just opportunistically knap. But in this case, since this is so bad and that's so good, I want to preserve the good. Hopefully this goes down deep a little bit, and that this bad stuff is not too deep, you know? You know what I mean. All right, where does it need to be flattened so that I can just stop flattening? Finished up the flattening. Is that good? Almost. Almost good. No, it's not almost. I still see some. This is bugging me, this little piece sticking out. There. If you're watching, Don, I can use another Abrader if you got some. I gotta send Don a message to make sure my friend is aware that I'm down to my last little bit. Beautiful. That side is so good. Yes, it is. All right, so I think that's flat enough. Yeah, stop messing with it. Stop messing with it. No more messing. No more messing. I'll get up my Smith & Wesson. Okay, fine. I won't mess with this side anymore. No, I'm not going to mess with it. No. That's it. If there's anything else to do, I'm going to have to do it with little flakes. It's too late to do the big. That was the last big honking flake. Right? Honking? You know what I mean. I don't know what else to call it. I heard it somewhere, probably from a napper. What have I been watching lately? I saw some funny stuff. You guys, You guys watch funny stuff. I looked at what your viewers are watching besides you. And you guys are watching some funny stuff. I mean, humorous. Humorous stuff. I was surprised. Instead of, watching mysteries of ancient civilizations, you guys are watching fails and funny stuff. What are fails? People doing stuff and getting injured. Doing stupid stuff. And falling down or falling into or causing stuff to collapse. Because you guys don't know how to demolish for remodeling. Yeah. You guys are watching sometimes remodeling videos where people are collapsing things they shouldn't collapse. Yeah. Stuff like that. Who is watching now? What kind of viewer do I have now that you're watching fail videos instead of ancient aliens? My viewership is changing and evolving constantly. Yes? Probably. Except the age group. The age stays the same. The age is... bunch of us old fogies are napping in our retirement. Although I'm not retired, I might as well be. I'm not going back to the professional drafting. Yeah. The last job, even though it paid well, the stress was... Oh. You think Flintknapping is stressful? Yes, try some industrial. Deadlines, industrial deadlines. You have to meet a deadline for the industry that you're contracted to work for. We work for various different companies. At the last job, I think I learned more in my last job than all my other jobs combined. It's because I had a lot of different duties. Anyway, trying to meet deadlines. Holy crowley. And sometimes they'll put a carrot out the client and say, if you finish this by a certain date, we'll add an extra bonus. It's in our contract. If you finish by a certain date, we'll pay extra. Oh, please don't do that. Can you take it out of the contract? I don't want it in there. Please. Because then the owner is going to want everything done lickety split. Yeah. And he liked doing that. Whenever he could, he would try to get that bonus for early completion. Oh no, why did you do that? We're all going, good grief. Another one like this. Sometimes we can do it. And that was when, that was like, everything was happy when we could finish it ahead of time. But that's only if we had the luck of having the inventory that we needed to complete these projects. He forgets that we got to order shit. Oops, sorry, pardon my French. He forgets we got to order stuff. And they don't always have it. And we got to look for other sources. Procurement is a biatch. Same in Flintknapping. Procurement of this stuff is a biatch. You know, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means you got to get the stuff that you need. Yeah. It's not always available. Believe it or not. So it adds stress. It doesn't even need to be there. You got to allow yourself time for procurement if your inventory isn't there. But no, signs a contract for early completion. A bonus for early completion. Okay. What are we going to do? So once in a while we'd, or the boss would scan junkyards of equipment and buy these pieces of junk and say, that part's right there. See that? I bought it junk, but the part we need is right there, so we don't need to procure it now, right? Yes, that's right. However, that little part you're pointing to, I got to make sure I call in someone to do the testing on it. We don't even know if it's still under warranty. How old is this junk equipment? Do we have to do new? Do we have to do a whole new testing regimen on it? I mean, you can't just use something off a junk piece of equipment. Sometimes these pieces of equipment that we get in junk are under warranty, which is not a problem. So we just, if there's some issue with it, we can just call it in. But if we use it and there's an issue and there's no warranty, chances are it'll fail in the field and we're screwed. Our bonus just gets eaten up by buying a new piece of equipment and that sort of thing. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? No? You've never dealt with that? You are lucky. Yeah. Yep. You're lucky. Luckily, we had a place to store a bunch of used equipment that was purchased by the boss. And then the order would come down and then I would say, okay, here we go. We're going to Frankenstein this together. Again. I talked to the shop foreman and says, we're going to do another Frankenstein project. Really? Yes, really. Again? Yeah. So there it is. We just hauled it in. Looks great, huh? No, it's going to need repainting. We're going to have to we're going to have to make it look nice. It's got some issues. Can't even see the dial on it. How are we going to replace that? The dial. Just going to have to work with it. Yeah, but you know these things have to be calibrated, right? Yes, I know. You're telling me? We've been through this before. Yeah, okay. So we get all the parts and we start Frankensteining together. Yeah. And then the customer sometimes wants to change it. After we fix up the old parts. Actually, it doesn't want that part. He wants this part. But we just spent time and money on fixing up this one valve. Now he wants a different valve in there. Yeah. Call it in this morning. Let's see. Can we order it? Well, supposedly. Yeah, supposedly. Okay, so let's order it. Come on. All right. No, I'm trying to order it and stuff. Yeah, it'll be 8 weeks. What? Yeah, 8 weeks. That part's in demand. Everybody wants it. So the word got out that that's what everyone's using now, so everybody wants it. So 8 weeks. Yeah, but I got like week and a half to finish this, or we'll miss our bonus for completing it ahead of schedule. It's got to be a week and a half. Well, that'll cost you like 3 times as much. Get an expedited order. You ready? No, we're not ready to pay 3 times the amount. Oh, well. That's the way it goes. Flintknapping is not as stressful as that. No, it isn't. But it can be annoying like this. And I'm annoying myself just talking about that stuff. Yeah. Anyways, I got too ambitious there. I wanted to try to get under that. Not all of our projects were like that, but there were some, when it rains, it pours. There were some projects that were like that. That it wasn't just one thing that went wrong, it was everything. And then we missed the deadline. Yep. Then the client says, well, we were going to order 3 more like that, but now we're not. What? Come on. No, we were going to order 3 or 4 or 5 more of those, but now we're not because you were not ahead of schedule. It's not personal, it's just business. It feels awfully personal, believe me. We don't tell them that. And it's just business, yeah. But it feels very personal. Yeah, because it breaks your heart. It just, oh, okay. All that effort. What do they say? Just brush it off. No skin off my back. Supposedly. Anyways. Oh, let's see. Shake it off, right? Just like the song goes. I think that's what it goes, how it goes. Shake it off, or I don't know what it is. I'm going to have to get to that step fracture from the other side here, so I'm going to lose some width in attempting that. But so far, so good. This is a good piece. Usually when you're making something, there's a manual or there are books involved in how to do it. You would think that there'd be good Flintknapping books or manuals on how to do this. But there are books and stuff, but they're not good. Nope. They're not that good at all. Why are they not good? They leave out too much. Yeah. For one, they're usually very rigid in their interpretation of what you should or should not do. they don't forget. I mean, they're not forgetting that people are individuals and that a lot of people knap differently, but they ignore it. They know. What did I just say? They don't ignore it, but they do ignore it. What did I just say? I don't know. They don't acknowledge that their techniques just don't work for some people, even though it makes perfect sense. You know, you would think that it would just be easy to write a manual on how to knap, but nope. I read a lot of stuff on Flintknapping and all the literature that I could find on the subject, and everything was too limiting. Yep. So I can't recommend anything. The only thing I can recommend is just look at all the pictures of all the artifacts, because there are a bunch, and just get exposed to all the different kinds of artifacts, and get exposed to the fact that they're not perfect, and you'll become wise to the fact that most people look at the 1% of the 1% of the knapped artifacts, and they think that's the way they were made. And most artifacts are made to be used, and they're not pretty. They might have some character to it, and they look like they have some charm. Yeah, okay, but it's like an ugly pet. So cute, but very ugly at the same time. That's like an artifact is like that. So cute, but then ugly at the same time. But the ones that are in the shows, literally in the artifact shows, just like in the pet shows if you're showing off your dog or cat or even pigs and rabbits, those are the 1% of the 1%. And people think, yeah, that's how a rabbit looks like, or that's how a pig looks like, or that's how a cat looks like. No. Most of the pets are not that perfect. And they're not that well behaved either. Oh no. They're sneaky little buggers. They're bullies too. Sneaky little bully buggers. Especially horses. I had a horse one time. That horse was a bully. He wasn't all gentle and nice. Yeah, whenever he had a chance, he would try to bite you. You stand too close for too long, he'll start sniffing, and if you don't react, like if you don't acknowledge his existence, he'll nip at you. Yeah. And then you can see he kind of enjoys that you get a reaction like, ouch, what are you doing? He enjoys that. Yeah. So I can't recommend, getting back to the subject, I can't seem to recommend any books, although I've looked at most of them. I suppose there are some sources that I haven't looked at, but I've looked at Andrzejewski. I've read those books more than once to try to get as much as I could out of them, but when you look at some scholarly work, just like some philosophers, they'll use language that makes it difficult to understand exactly what he's talking about as a disguise for being a difficult subject to begin with. It's not complicated. Not really. It's not as complicated as they make it out to be. And you don't need as many categories as they create for different things. As an example. Like all these different angles for different strikes. They're not that different. they're just little tweaks, like I've been saying. Most of this stuff is all the same angles. Just little tweaks. The conchoidal fracturing, that only explains like a small portion of what the flake is doing. It mainly pertains to the initiation of the flake and not the propagation of the fracture. Yeah. But they make it sound complicated. Unnecessarily. But then they also miss the fact that they sometimes oversimplify it at the same time. So you're reading it, and some of it's oversimplified, and some of it's overly complicated unnecessarily. When you read books on Flintknapping, it's because they're not flint nappers. Nope. Unfortunately, well, most of the authors are not flint nappers. Now, there's some books out there written by flint nappers, yes, but they're highly set in their ways in most cases. A lot of those books came out before indirect percussion became popular. Yeah. That sort of thing. A lot of them deal with copper tools exclusively. And when they talk about natural materials, they don't let you know, or how should I say it? They ignore the fact that there's high amounts of variability in the natural tools. They just don't mention it because they don't want to get complicated in that way. They want to make it sound like they know what they're talking about by using jargon and stuff that only exists in the Flintknapping community or in the archaeological community. Yeah, but they leave out stuff too. It's frustrating. Okay, I see where this is going. The edge is not strong enough for what I want to do. Okay, so what do I do in that case? I just have to make it more narrow. Yeah. That's why you pay the big bucks for these wide blades, because they're so much of a pain to make. But I'm sorry, if it starts to become too much of a pain, I'm not going to make a wide one. I'll make it as wide as I can without breaking it, without putting too many step fractures. You can see that this is much more grainy than this side. Well, maybe not much more, but it is more grainy. Yikes. Yeah, see that? With Obsidian, I could have blasted through there. Look at that. That would not be an unreasonable flake with other material that's not so grainy. And I noticed that it was grainy. I still took the chance, and it didn't work. How do you get that out? You got to take it back. There's no way now I can get it, remove it without losing width. Dang it. Yeah. Let's see. I try to minimize the width loss. I don't know. That's pretty bad. Sometimes when that happens, I just chuck it and then put it in the broken Bifaces box. I don't chuck it out and throw it away. I just put it in the broken Bifaces because you can grind that down with some sort of grinding tool and then continue flaking and then preserve the width. But I don't grind them down. In my knapping, I try to eliminate that kind of stuff with flaking. But if you want to preserve the width, you grind it down with a grinder. And then flake over the tool marks. Yeah. Dang it. I might be able to do something. Hold on. See, I don't have step fractures that are good step fractures. It's all kind of rounded off and not. I can't get a tool onto the face of the step fractures to pop that out. You know, I can use Nacho-matic or get Nacho into the arena and see if he can defeat that. But this is crunched right there. I can't use Nacho to get that out because I could push with the spring-loaded punch. I could continue to push that flake if that step fracture is not crunched right there at the face of it. But it is crunched. I might be able to pick it. Get some of that out of there. If I don't bend this all to heck. Yeah. Yeah. See, I took a thinning flake earlier right there, hoping I wouldn't need to do that later, but yeah, maybe I should have waited to do a thinning flake because now I don't have any meat to run another flake behind it. It's too thin. This is too long of a stretch. See, the flakes are not traveling all that well. They're not traveling that far. If you look, see how far they're traveling? They're traveling to the center, basically, on this side. Or on this side, yeah, they travel a lot better because it's a lot better quality. Okay. All right. All right, so no biggie. Just got to make it more narrow. Some are going, no, I want a wide Biface at least once in my life. So sorry. Yeah, besides, once I get it trimmed down, I can do a lot more cleaning up in that crunchy middle. Get to the center of that Tootsie Pop. Yeah, I'm going to make it more narrow from both sides to beef up that edge for strikes in both directions. But yeah, it hurts. I got to admit, I don't like it at all when that happens. Like I said, sometimes I just put the whole thing to the side and say, I'll let someone else deal with it. If they got some grinding tools, they can remove that and continue. Keep some width. Yeah, it's getting tough. I thought it would be much easier because it's starting to get into the better stuff here, especially like right here. It was good, but then I'm overconfident that it's good stuff because it looks just like this. See how it looks? Very similar. but it's tougher. Either that or I didn't do it right. Yeah, that's always a possibility. I didn't do it right. I could do what I can to minimize it without grinding it. You know what I mean, right? You could take a Dremel or some sort of rotary tool and just grind that right down. Then continue flaking. As long as it's not diving in there. I don't think it's diving down in there. If it is diving down in there, then you've got other issues, but it looks okay. So I'm going to take back that whole edge. Yeah. I can use the opportunities now that I'm going to be taking back this edge and making the edge more robust. It'll make it easier to clear out this junk. So not all is lost, just the width. That's it. Yeah. This is the most important part. No, it's not the most important part. The most important part is not breaking it. Yeah, it's a combination of tough material and the edge was not ideal, unfortunately. I'm still not out of the woods because I can mess it up even worse. I have, tossed blades like this into the broken bifaces because I made it worse at this stage. I had to be careful. I gotta do what drives me up the wall, and that is taking forever to strengthen that edge. Looking at it, looking at it, looking at it. Let's just attack that and then see what we get. See what we're left with to work with after I attack that. I'm gonna lower that edge a little bit, or bring it closer to the obstacle and then drop it down. I'm gonna lose a bunch of width right there. Wait a second. How did I miss that flake? It's a good one. All right, I should be able to get it, but I'm hitting a slightly above center line, which is not good. Yeah, well, I'm gonna have to trim that edge a little bit more. Make sure I don't get any incipients in there. Because every time I hit it and nothing happens, those incipients are flying around. They want to land in there. And who knows, there might already be some in there. Just because of that one failure. Could still be some incipients in there. There's a step right there. Let's see. I can get that out later. I don't like that step right there. Get it out while I still have meat on it. Nice dull. Okay. It's bent also. What is it? Raw chert or what? What's the problem? Yeah, it's raw chert. It ruined my smoothness. No. Oh no. Yeah, I got crunchies down here too. The smoothness has been interrupted. You see that? That's what I get everywhere. Okay, I know. We've all been there. We've all been there and done that. Oh, nothing happened. Okay. I was worried there for a second. It looks like everything will be fine now. I just gotta symmetritize it. And make sure I blast through the remaining lump, because that lump could be the lump of death. Oh yes. It may not be cooperative at all. You mean there's death lumps? Yeah. There's death lumps in the bifaces. Lumps of death. It's like a trap. It lures you in. It looks like it's conquerable, but it's not. And you'll throw all of your might into it, and it'll be swallowed up. Yeah. Swallow it up in the mouth of the dragon. Yeah. Okay, did it do it? Oh. Yes, it did it. And it didn't take off all that much from the edge or didn't cause radial cracks. Okay, that's a relief. Yeah, it's a plop plop fizz fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Yeah. Nice. All right, so I can't be happy though. Remember, if I get too happy, things mess up. See if it did what I thought. Yeah, I took that area. Oh, it almost got everything. But it looks, I like it better than before. Yeah, even though it looks kind of stupid with those three little steppy areas, I think it still looks better than before, I think. Yeah. I make myself happy by pretending it looks better. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3. To get to the center of that Tootsie Pop. Okay. All right, so what's next? We shall continue. We shall continue the risk taking. Yeah. and then we'll symmetritize it after we get it thinned. Yeah, I am gonna do it on this one video. I'm gonna just push on through. This is the stage where I need to be not exhausted, but I'm gonna break my own rule and push ahead. Overextend myself and hope for the best. Not a good tactic, but I'm a little pressed for time. If I take a break, I'll take too long of a break. I know myself. Oh, that one. This is going to be the undoing of me. Yes, it is. It's very nasty. Now, Nacho might be able to tackle that, but it's not at the right angle. Yeah. There is a danger of diving. The step fractures, it could have a slight dive to it. And you don't want to hit it with a Nachomatic because if it has a slight dive, it'll continue to dive. If I could guarantee that it's not diving in, then I could smack it with the Nachomatic and maybe get that off. Maybe. It's still not guaranteed. And I'm hitting the middle. I'm taking a risk of breaking the whole thing in half. But I got to thin that middle while it's still strong enough to handle it. If I get it too thin and then try to get that middle lump out, I could snap the tip off, where it has a drastic change from really thick to really thin. It could snap right across here if I start taking off more before I remove this. So I'm gonna tackle that now. Maybe I can get it from this side. But again, I gotta do what I don't like to do. Mess with the edge forever. Look at it and go, no. Mess with it more. Look at it. No. Mess with it. How do I know it's not good? It just doesn't feel right. Nope, it's not convex enough. So I gotta make it more convex by chipping a little bit more on it. And then grind it again to the same extent. Grind it to death. I might even need to isolate it. Usually I don't isolate, but I might need to. What does it do? Well, isolating sometimes, at least for me, allows for a more precise hit. But for some reason, when I isolate, I tend to just blow off or blow apart the isolated area, and it doesn't go anywhere. And it's either because I don't build the platforms correctly, or the indirect percussion is just too powerful to do that. My strikes are too fast. So I'm not using support. I got to increase the speed of the strike, and it blows away the striking areas many times. I hit that hard as I could. Let's see what it did. Not bad, not too bad. Except now I don't know what I'm going to do about this step fracture other than maybe try the nacho on it. It was supposed to fan out, but see, it didn't want to. It was supposed to fan out in both directions. But it stopped right there because of the, I think it's because of the inconsistencies in the stone. It hit this way, right at that step fracture. And it tried to fan out a little bit, but it went mostly this way. It went, oh, all my energy that way? No. I'm going to push all my energy that way. Dang it. And it would have met up with it too. See, it went long enough for me to get that from the other side, but no. It didn't do it. It didn't. I might be able to sneak a flake in there. Yeah, but I gotta change the edge. Don't like it. See, that's why they make these things narrow back in the day, so you don't have to deal with this. They learned. Oh, it felt like it almost did it. Let's see. Let's put the flake back and try again. I still have the striking area intact. Even after that massive hit. See that? That stone is tough right there. I gotta make sure there's nothing in there. It's gonna fit just perfectly back in place. No, not enough. Okay. All right, let's see. This is nacho. We're gonna try nacho. I think I've already ground down that. See, the angle though is not correct. It needs to be like that. So I gotta take away some of the edge here to improve that angle on the strike. Hold on. Did you see what I meant? Some of you did not see what I meant. It's too fast. See, if the nachomatic angle is too high like this, it will dive. It's got to be low as you can get it, like that, so that you're actually striking uphill, as uphill as you can. I don't like it, but it's all I got right now. It's not all that great as far as the angle goes, but I might be able to do it. See, ha! Jackpot! Yay! Nacho did win. That was way too easy, actually. Yeah, way too easy. Now I got to do it again here, but see, it started to dive a little bit. Let's see if I can get the correct angle on this side. Maybe I can pop that off from here. Yeah, a little bit. All right, let's improve this angle to see if we can do more with that spring-loaded punch. I could just pick it. It looks like an incomplete fracture. If I pick it, I might be able to just get it out of there with a nice pick. Okay, here we go. All right. Did that go all right? That went all right, yes, because I can tell it was starting to dive. Yeah. So that's probably a better result than there would have been with the nacho. Yeah. It's not pretty, but it's okay. Much better than it was. So yeah, that could have been alleviated if I had gone more narrow to begin with. Yeah. But nobody wants that. No, I want to see how wide you can go. And I want to see how wide I can go too. Oh yeah. What is possible with this stuff? All right. What are we going to do now? I got to thin the rest of it. I might leave some of that in there. I mean, I probably am going to have to leave it in. I don't see any good way of getting it unless I make it even more narrow. I might be able to. From these sides. But it's so risky. Could make a wonky blade. You know, instead of trying to straighten it out, just go with the flow and leave it curved in some areas. It's starting to develop a curve because I'm damage controlling it a little bit too much because it messed up. So it's developing a curve. I'm starting to remove way too much off of this side, and it's going to be curved. But I can leave it curved, and it will look more like a real one. But no one wants to see that. Because nobody likes to look at it if it's not real. They don't like looking at mistakes unless they're real mistakes from an actual artifact. All right. Is that good? That's very good. Is that good? That's also very good. I might even be able to clear that mess out now. So I move the edge quite a bit. Yeah. Isn't Chert great? Okay. That's not going to do it. Okay. Little by little. Man. I think it did it. It's doing it little by little. Little by little. Yes, it is. That was actually lucky. Yeah. I don't like the result there, though. Sacrifice the edge. just because I didn't like those little steps in there. It's the law of the West. Dang it. It's still doing it. It's all becoming that nasty stuff. I've napped away all the good stuff, apparently. I've napped away all the good chert. Now I'm left with the nasties. Yep. Story of my life. When it comes to these bigger blades. All right. Okay. Yes. Yes, I can deal with the little stupid stuff later. Yeah. Just checking to see if it's doable later. Hold on. Make sure that crack isn't really deep. Okay, so yeah, I can take care of this, some of that stuff later. What else we got? It's a bit wonky. Yeah, it is. How much more do I want to thin it? I want to thin it as thin as possible. That's what I want to do. As thin as I can possibly do it without breaking it. That was the hardest part. I just finished the hardest part. Everything else is going to be much easier because I don't need to thin it down anymore. Except maybe to remove this hump here to straighten it. Which won't be that difficult because it's good material. At least right here it seems to be good material. I'm going to leave whatever's in here. Yeah. So sorry about that one, but I can't do anything about that. No. I could strike from this side, but then it increases the curvature. And there's no guarantee that I'm going to make a flake that long to clear that. And this over here, I can just leave that too. Yeah. It looked better when it was bigger and less flakery. Yeah, I know, but you know, just use your imagination. I could have stopped at any time, but I'm continuing it to cover all my bases. Yeah, people want to see how thin they can get, so I'm going to cover that base as well as people want to see how to make a nice smooth biface, regardless of the thickness. So you get to see both. That's why I do it this way. And the added bonus is I can sell a thin biface at the auction. Yeah, because they sell well. All right, let's see. It's got lumpage. In the process of doing this, I might see some opportunities for damage control. Yeah. But right now, I'm going to clean up the edge. I'm going to thin this way down up here also. Let's hold on here. I want to look at this edge and mess around with it a little bit down here toward the middle. Yeah. Okay, so I think it'll be flakeable. I might be able to get a bunch of these crunchies out. All right, so what I need to do is thin down the tip before it gets way too thin here and it's way too thick up here. I need to remove the curve a little bit. Hopefully not lose too much width. All right. So stage 3 now is the final thinning. Hour and 25. Should we go for a 2-hour video? I think we shall. All right, so tip. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Yeah, this is not the fun part. This is the stress part. Okay. No, not like that. Yeah, it's very tough. Dang it. It's very tough. Boys and girls at home, don't be getting too used to the Obsidian. Because when you start switching back to Chert, you don't realize how tough it is until it's too late. Unless you do it all the time, unless you switch back and forth from Chert to Obsidian all the time, I don't recommend it. Because that happens. See that? That happens. I thought I beefed up that edge enough, but obviously not. Okay. I knew it was going to be tough, but not this tough. I'm hitting it hard enough to break the tip off. Yeah. And still. It's still not behaving. Okay. Just keep in mind, the stone likes to be struck with enough force. It does like it. Except when it doesn't. I laugh because I contradict myself. Don't strike it too hard. But it likes being it likes being struck hard, and then it doesn't like being struck hard. Which one is it? All of the above. Yep. Yeah. You're tough, but you're not that tough. Come on. One little area right there is going to get me. I'll see what I can do with pressure later on that. I won't push my luck right now with the percussion. It doesn't look that bad yet. I might be able to get that out with pressure. It looks pretty bad when I consider hitting it with percussion. It doesn't look right. So I won't. Percussion, especially the way I do it, requires a strong edge. Except when it doesn't. I know that doesn't help. Sometimes I can hit a little bitty tiny little area that's not very strong with indirect percussion, and it works well. But other times, I need to beef up that edge so much that it boggles my mind. It defies all logic. See, I thinned this down. It's still not thin in that area that I don't want to hit. I might try it anyway. I don't like it. All right. That's better. That makes me feel better. Okay. Yeah. That's better. Now we can move on. Yes, like that. We can move on like that. That's how I like to move on. Because that helps to take the curve out by removing some of this bulk on this side. Yep. And I need to work on the symmetry at the same time. So take some of this off. Yikes. It's going to get really narrow. And I'm going to be shooting flakes into an area that I said I wasn't going to knap because it doesn't need it. It doesn't need it. But now, see, that's why it's so hard to figure out if it's flat enough. Remember back in the beginning, I didn't know if it was going to be flat enough. I tried my best to get it flat enough. Apparently, it wasn't flat enough. I don't like it. My only consolation is that this material looks like it's pretty good quality stuff. And we shall see how good, if that quality runs deep or not. It looks like it might run deep enough. I don't like it. Don't like it. Let's see. Huh. I'll take it. And I did not pull on it. I'm just putting my finger there as a way to prevent bridging. Yeah. Right now, bridging will snap it. If you move your fingers apart and hit it in between the fingers, it could snap it right across because of something called bridging. I call it bridging. Someone asked me one time, what's my opinion on pushing or, squeezing or pulling. I don't do that. I have no way of knowing how much pressure is necessary or how much pulling is necessary. How do I know? If it works, I say, well, I pulled enough, or I pressed enough, or I squeezed enough. But what if it was successful because of something else and not because of the squeezing and pulling? I don't even know. And you can't say, well, I'm going to try it on some and then not try it on an identical piece, because there's no identical piece. You say, well, I can use ground down preforms or glass or both to see what it works. You mean the contours are going to be exactly the same? Yeah, if it's ground down, you might be able to do it. Yes. Because you can make the surfaces the same. In that case, yeah. But I don't have that. And I don't want to do that because it's boring to be grinding it and then making it all the same and spending time grinding it. Just to know how much you can pull on it when I can get the same results without even having to know that. Yeah. What's the ratio that you're getting when you're pulling on it? Are you getting really good ratios on width to thickness? Because if you're getting the same as I am, or not as good as I am, why should I even bother? Yeah. So right now I'm taking the curve out because it's too much on this side. It's got too much material on that side. Which makes it thinner, which runs a risk of breaking it. Runs a risk of more step fracturing too. On that side that was all nice and smooth. Oh, did it create a land bridge? Yes, it did. See, land bridge. Dang it. Oh, no, that was not good. All right, you. Just give me a couple more good flakes, okay? That's it. I'm using the file too, so you don't got no excuses. Yes, okay. Got one of them. I got that step fracture. What about the other ones? It looks horrible. No, it looks okay. Looks all right. It's my party. I can call it good if I want to. See if I can get rid of that land bridge. Sparks are flying. I might not be able to get rid of that land bridge. No. It's too stubborn. Too stubborn. What else can I do? Work on the symmetry and then final finishing, final edge thinning. That solved that problem. I didn't want it that wide anyway. Yeah. Yeah, there's no way I can get that land bridge out of there. So I'll leave it. Yep. I might be able to get some of this out. See how it would make it look better if I took out this lump right there. But then it's going to bite into the symmetry. So I'm not going to do it. Yeah. So now it's just a matter of sharpening up the edge. First, regularizing it, making it less wavy. Because it does lead to a sharper edge if it's straight. A straight edge cuts better than a curvy or wavy edge. Because it offers less resistance. I might actually take that flake. Yes, no? I don't know. It's a hard decision. Take some flakes over here. Yeah. I still think I can thin down this tip a little bit more. Almost. But look at that. It got cracked. Dang it. And now taking out that crack is going to mess up my width to thickness ratio because I'm going to take down the edge. Still got a land bridge right there. Almost. But I still have that. I still have a remnant of a crack. Yeah, I still have a remnant of a crack there, which is not good, but at least it's not broken. That crack, one of the reasons for it is because it is starting to get too flexible, and it can open up radial cracks. Yeah. As it gets thin, it gets more flexible, and those radial cracks can open up. Yeah, I can't goof around with this too much. So I probably had a width to thickness ratio that was a little bit better than it is now. Earlier, I think I had a better ratio. Oh well. See how far we can take it. In the spirit of figuring out how far we can take this, we're going to sacrifice some thinness. Yeah, I got to stop messing with it. So we do have a side A and side D. I'm gonna try to finish this up before the 2-hour mark. Let's see, in 2 hours I can make 3 points. For the time it took me to make this one, right? I can make 3 points. That together will probably sell more than this one will sell for. So large pieces are not only wasteful in material, they're also wasteful in time. So there's got to be a good reason for them, right? Or some deeply held belief that they're better. Because it has to be belief and not really logic, because logically you can make 3 points in this amount of time with less material. And probably be a lot more mentally healthy. Yeah, not so much stress. I don't know if I can make it smoother on that side. Yeah, and I'll sharpen it off camera, because that's just the boring part, and it's all pressure flaking. It's just persnickety pressure flaking that I can do tomorrow when I'm rested. If I do the pressure flaking right now, I'll get too frustrated. It's already starting to frustrate me with these little lump elimination flakes. But on this tough chert, these lump elimination flakes are much easier to do with indirect percussion, if I can get them done without step fracturing. Yeah, like that. Yeah, that's okay. The edge is still a little bit too wavy, but it's okay. I'm satisfied with the thinness. Now, I should have measured it before. Let's see what I got. 56 millimeter by, let's get this correct, by 8. What's 8? No, less. Let's see. Let's just call it 8. Let's see. 8 times 6 is 56. 56. Now, 8 times 7 is 56. That's 8. Yeah. If my math is okay. 8 times 6 times 8 is 48. Yeah, I think it's 7 to 1. I think it might have been better than that a little while ago. But yeah, it's the interior of the tab or the tabular chert, a lot of times it's more concrete, which this is no exception. It got more concrete. Now I'm gonna show the good stuff compared to the middle. You can see the difference in color and grain and consistency. See the various coloration and various pockets of stuff, and this was taken off near the cortex, and it's much more clear. It's probably much easier to work, and yeah, it's going to make a nice arrowhead. Translucency is better on this one because it doesn't have those little pockets of concrete. But I like it. I still like it. Yeah. 7 inches. Yep. But it's not 3 inches wide. So the 7x3, I can do it with Obsidian, but I'm still having trouble doing it with Chert. Okay, so there you go. That's all she wrote. That's my final answer on the surface. I don't want to mess with it. I tried it, and that's what I come up with. Interesting piece. Yeah. I am so glad I didn't break it right there. Trying for this. Remember that? I tried to get that step fracture by hitting it really, really hard right there, and I ended up cracking it. Where is it? The crack is right here. The flake was up here. And I almost got it. But I don't know if it's worth it. See that? I still have a remnant in there. That can open up, and you know, since it's right in the middle, it has a tendency to open up. But I think that this material is strong enough that you could use it as a knife and it won't crack there. All right. Okay, that's enough. I got to go in. I'll come back out and do some more when I'm not so tired. All right. There you go. That's it.